Hi, I'm Caitlyn.
And I'm Kalee, and this is
Shoot the Vows. Today, we are talking about what I personally regret, what I would do differently at my wedding if I could do it again, knowing what I know now, and
The future of my wedding, what I would do and wouldn't do being in the industry.
because she's not married yet.
Whoop.
So somebody's got to get on that.
Yeah, have to.
Anyways, so as far as like, okay, so like I would still have a budget-ish wedding now.
Obviously.
You know what I mean? Like I'm not spending $40,000 on a wedding. Just it's not happening.
Personally,
Which is
can't,
average.
like,
I could,
see that being a
but
good
I don't
idea.
want to.
No. I couldn't see that for me personally being an ideal situation.
Yeah.
For me, and right now in 2026, what I would do if I were getting married is I would buy a house and make a big party out of the house. Like I'm like that's totally right up my alley.
My friends did that. They bought a cabin on a river.
How cute.
And then they got married at it. They like literally built a dance floor deck.
Aww.
They like built things in the, like on the property for the wedding.
Yeah. No, see,
cool.
I love that. And like,
yeah, you should just do that.
Your deposit like is going towards something, if that makes sense, that you get to keep forever rather than it be something that you only have for a weekend, you know, and that's if you're getting the weekend spaces, you know. Yeah. There's some spaces where you can only do one day because they have other weddings. Like, yeah. So I think I would probably stay away from the venue side of things and go more towards like buying a house, having a down payment that way.
Having a budget wedding, I wanted to save money. And one of the biggest things that I thought was going to save me money was piecemealing everything together. So finding, a place, to get married, and then buying our own decorations, and then renting tables and chairs, and then bringing in our own caterer, and then bringing in, so everything that we did was separate. And my friend specifically said, it's a huge pain in the ass. Like if I could just get it all through one place, I would do that. And same friend that had the cabin wedding. And I was like, yeah, okay, that's great. That sounds wonderful if you like had the budget, but like I don't. But knowing what I know now in the industry, you can actually save money doing that. Like if you choose a venue and maybe it costs a little more than a state park that you have to pay for.
But it supplies the catering. It supplies the tablecloths and the chairs and the tables. So you don't have to go and hunt for that. Yeah. Like, don't get me wrong. Like a really cute thing that like trend wise that I've seen kind of going on is thrifting the chairs for everybody to sit on. Yeah. And then they just take them back to their table with them. And like, that's a cute budget thing to do.
It's not though.
But when you think about it, you're out spending $5 to $30 on the chairs. It doesn't matter if you're going to a thrift store. It doesn't matter if you're going antiquing. You're going to estate sales. Like, they're still going to be anywhere from $5 to $40, $50 a piece, depending on the quality, the size, all of that. Yeah. So, it's cute. And, you think you're saving money until you can buy it in bulk for $3 a piece through your venue.
For sure. I had this conception that DIY always meant cheaper, and that's not the case at all.
Not the case.
And also, with how much time you're spending doing all this stuff, you might as well just take a second job and pay for the wedding you actually want.
And then you have, let's lowball the wedding and say you got 80 guests. Then you've got 80 chairs after the wedding that you now have to find a home for. And then none of them match. Yeah. Like, what are you going to, it's a party favor, take your chair with you. Like, teacups, books, that's one thing, but not a whole chair.
It's not that easy to resell things either. You're like, well, I'll just sell it afterwards and get my money back. And it's like, well, now you got to figure out where you're going to keep it in the meantime. So, there's a lot of things like that I think
aren't thought about.
Yeah. I didn't think about it. That's for sure. When we rented tables and chairs, I underestimated how much that would be. And so the plan was to do a state park. It actually wasn't even a state park. It was just a park, which would have been great. However, you don't have a rain plan when you're getting when your reception's just in the middle of a field and there's a pavilion. Is 120 people going under that pavilion? What if it's thunder and lightning like our wedding day?
Oh, no.
You know what I mean? Like, is your DJ going to be under a metal tent with his...
Sounds dangerous.
You know what I mean? Like, do you have a generator coming for all that? So it's just like there's a lot of things that you think will save you money, but it's like...
it might end
more
up
of a
causing
headache.
a headache in the end.
More of a headache than
because again, you don't have the most venues supply a coordinator, and they have that in case stuff does go wrong. You have someone active in the moment of, we've been here, done this, no worries. Me and my crew of 10 are about to come and flip the whole room, so you can have your ceremony indoors since it started raining.
Yeah.
Like,
and you definitely don't need to do either a $5,000 like backyard barbecue wedding if you don't want that. If you do, then like go for that. But like, if you really want more, but you feel like you're settling for that because that's all you can do, which is what I did, because you can't afford a $30,000 wedding, just know there's something in between those two things.
absolutely.
Like you can do 8,000-9,000 and have like a beautiful wedding. You know, it is going to be more budget, but it's not going to be like my situation where it was in the church gym because 2 days before we had moved everything, and I didn't want that. You know what I mean? And it wasn't my goal or my vision, so to speak.
For sure. And I think that's where, like, if we're talking like my ideal wedding, I think would probably be in a greenhouse, because and then I don't have to pay for the plants. I don't have to propagate the plants to, you know, all of it's kind of already done. Like, I love the plants. I love the greens. I can't get over it.
Can you tell?
No, not at all.
If you're listening and you're not watching, just know we have at least 50 plants in the studio. We haven't counted, but we will after this episode.
I argued it. And drop in the comments how many plants you think we've got in the studio. We'll work out them afterwards.
Yeah, we'll comment and let you know.
But yeah, I think like my ideal for like my personal wedding venue would probably be more greenhouse. Like, yeah, it's a little bit cheaper, but I don't have 120 people coming to my wedding. Let's be completely real. I don't like that many people.
You also don't have to pay for decorations, probably.
Exactly, because at the end of the day, all I'm got to be worried about is tablecloths and maybe I'll propagate a few of my home plants as the favors to put on the table for them to just take home. Because then that cuts out both the plants and Here's the way you're looking at me. You're so funny. But it does. It cuts out the cost of having to do flowers. And don't get me wrong, I love flowers. I will absolutely have flowers involved. But like, that cuts off a good chunk of change right there by having it in the greenhouse. If I was planning a wedding my way, a greenhouse is the way I would go. If like I didn't find that perfect house to put that deposit on to celebrate it there.
Yeah, makes sense. Or any land.
No, literally any land.
Oh, we have a wedding in September that they bought this land. And I don't know if they bought it like to get married on it, but they bought it and they were like, we're getting married on it. And so the wedding is there. You're shooting that one.
I'm so excited for this one.
And like they've been like strategically planting flowers in different places so that like there's like a flower field and then like the sun sets behind it. And,
see, that's such a good idea because again, you're not dropping $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 on a venue for a weekend. You literally have that place for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
It gets to get passed to your kids. Maybe your kids will get married there. Like, you know, like there's so much you can do with it.
Yeah, for sure. Not everyone is in a place where they can buy, like if you're in New York City or something, you're not buying a plot of land. Maybe downstate a little bit. Or I mean, if they're in New York City, upstate, you could, but then everyone's traveling. So it's not feasible for everybody, but I mean, it's definitely a really good idea.
Where would your dream venue be? I know you said that you got married in a state park, but out of knowing what you know now, what would be your venue?
So if you had asked me then, my dream was to get married at a barn and I wanted to come up the aisle horseback. I wanted to be horseback, like side saddle.
Your college days are showing.
Yeah, my college, yeah. I definitely have changed my position a little bit since then. Now I would do more like ballroom-esque. Honestly, I would probably do something like Bayshore Grove in Oswego.
Really?
Margot's wedding.
I definitely thought you would want something more like the Manor House.
Well, yeah, I mean, duh. But I mean, the interior actually looks very similar. The Bayshore Grove has more windows, but kind of that, I mean, and I wish we could get rid of carpet. I just don't like carpet in general, but I guess I agree. You got to deal with it because it's everywhere. But
like if Bayshore Grove, for example, if they didn't have that ugly red carpet, like I can only imagine the types of weddings you could have there.
Yeah.
Because that red really stands out. So you got to play off the red or cover it. You can't cover a whole floor. So
yeah, definitely have to have some sort of complementary colors for it.
Oh, have to.
I definitely like the white walls. Like I don't like barns so much now because everything is just brown and there's no
orange,
like you said, there's no covering up the walls. I have been to a barn where they painted the barn walls white. They were white wooden walls. Like it was very interesting. It looked better, but it was still, you could still tell it was a barn. Yeah. So but I do like the kind of ballroom look.
Cannot wait for barn venues to get out of style. You have no idea.
I like garden weddings too. The only thing is, like, I've said this before on many episodes, like, you just have to think of bees. Yeah. Which I don't care. I'm not afraid of bees. I like them. I don't like wasps or hornets or anything like that. But I like bees. I think they're chill. They're nice. The one thing that I would do differently, like putting budget and venue and all of that aside, and I tell couples this all the time, is I would do a first look. And I really wanted a traditional wedding. Like, I wanted a traditional ceremony where, like, I come up the aisle, he doesn't see. I remember specifically saying word for word, you're not seeing me until I come up that aisle. You better not peek or, like, you know what I mean? Don't run into me in the hallway. But knowing what I know now, I think that tradition is a little bit overrated. And I think that the first look is not... Everyone's like, oh, the first look's for the photographers. Like, yes, it's helpful to us. It's helpful to you because then you get more time later on in the day. But for the most important thing about the first look is that you get a moment together and you get to, like, the wedding is about you.
Right.
And your marriage. And, like, yeah, everyone's like witnessing it, but like you guys get to have that moment together before the ceremony.
See, I think I'd want to do it just a tad bit different. I don't think I'd want to jump straight into the first look. I think I would want to do the first touch, which would lead me into wanting to look and see. You know what I mean? So like, I feel like that's like another like smooth way to go into it because like do the first touch and then you get that release or that emotion build up of like, oh, you're finally here. Like, I'm finally getting to see you after all morning of all this craziness, you know, finally get to see your person. And like, there's nothing sweeter than that.
Yeah.
Like the pure emotion that comes from the first touches and first looks are just killer.
No, for real. And then maybe I would do one with my dad because he was more sentimental than I expected.
Really?
Yeah. I didn't think he was going to be sentimental at all. But when he saw me, he was all like, I think maybe he shed one tear.
Aw.
Maybe.
I feel like what I would want to do was, so like, I've always had this is always something I've said, and I'm like standing by this, that when I do get married, my dad will be the one that like marries us. He is ordained. Like that is something that like can happen. But like, I don't know that I'd want my dad to walk me up the aisle. I think I would want that moment, like, to just be by myself, like, walking, getting to see everybody. Like, there's no pressure, no rush or anything like that. But I would want to do the first look with my dad before the whole aisle thing, you know? So I did still get to see his reaction and still get that sentimental moment with him. And then he's not missing out on my whole aisle walking. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, you're like marrying us. You're literally going to be up there waiting for me, you know? So I still get that moment of I've already had my first look with him and he gets to see me at the beginning of the aisle, you know?
Yeah. One of my biggest regrets of getting married, not of like, I have no regrets of getting married. One of my biggest...
Joe, she regrets you.
I love you, Joe. No, one of my biggest regrets of the wedding planning process, let's say that, is not doing enough research on my photographer. And like, I did research, man. I really thought I did. I looked at reviews. I looked at work. It was very important to me. I knew that from the beginning. Like, we're going to have our marriage license. We're going to have our pictures. Everything else is gone. The cake has been eaten. The dinner has been eaten. The DJ packed up and went home. You know what I mean? Like, but the only thing you have is your pictures and your marriage. And I didn't look, you know what I think maybe could have prevented it was I should have looked at full galleries. So I should have seen not the best of my photographer's work, but all of, So on our website, you know, we have several full galleries up for this reason, because I feel very strongly about it. And I always encourage couples to look at full galleries. So yeah, I definitely should have done more research. And, I mean, it is what it is. We got some good pictures.
Well, I know when I get married, I'm coming to Moments Captured CMY, photo and video. Don't mind me.
Video, I'm not doing the video.
Nope, you'll be doing the photos.
I'll be like,
who was sobbing, wiping a tear.
Sorry, I got water on your in front of the lens. Yeah, I don't know. I think, what else do I regret? The pictures, the stress of it all.
I don't think I would have a big bridal party.
I couldn't think of more than 2 people, and I literally was trying to conjure up people.
Well, that's
I was literally, Joe looked at me and said, I have to think of 2 people. I don't even
see, and I don't even know that I'd want a bridal party standing up there with me.
No,
I really think that I would just have it me and my partner standing at the front.
Oh God, I have no regrets. My maid of honor, I would have just starved to death on my wedding day without her. I would have just withered away.
Well, don't get me wrong. Like I'd have my, like, you know, my girls that, you know, are my best girls, all 2 of them. But like maybe 3 if you count my sister on a good day. Like, yeah. But I just don't think I'd have them standing up there with me.
Yeah, that's fair. They always get in the way of the photos too.
And like, I don't know, being in the industry that we're in, like, you see it all the time. Like, they can't stand still. Like, they don't know what to do with their hands. Like,
but then who's gonna hold the bouquet when you get up there?
Well, that's what I'm saying. We'll figure that out when we get there. But they're still gonna be there, and maybe they're in the front or second, you know, row at the end of the front row. Like, I don't know, something, because somebody's got to handle the dress issues and the veil issues and the flower issues.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's so crazy how many ways you can like get married, and
literally endlessly.
So many things that can make it unique. Like, I've shot so many weddings and I can't say any of them were the same.
Oh, no, none at all.
They had some similarities, but like, they're just so unique to you and your partner, and like, they speak to your relationship.
If I were to do a wedding based off of not budget, based off of like my wants and dreams, that would be, I'd probably like do it overseas, and it would be like a week kind of getaway thing where, you know, you invite everybody probably about like halfway through it. So I had like the first couple days there with my partner, and then, you know, getting into the wedding day, everybody kind of floats off home after the second, third day, and then you have the rest of the remaining to have is like your honeymoon.
You didn't strike me as a destination wedding kind
of gal.
Yeah,
I love anything that's not over here. Sorry.
That's really funny.
Like, and don't get me wrong, like, there's a lot of gorgeous areas in the States. Like, there's like Colorado, it's absolutely gorgeous. Like, you know, but I don't know, I feel like a destination wedding has always been on my like top list. I know it's not feasible, but
you don't know that.
By the time I get married, it's looking like it will be.
You do not know that.
If I get married when I'm 30.
It's not a bad age. I'm 30.
I'm not saying it is a bad age. It's a bad age to get married.
No, it's not.
Bullshit, I'm going to be old. Sorry if you're 30.
I'm 30.
I'm sorry if you're 30.
All right, so that pretty much wraps up this episode. I got to go beat Kalee now.
Honestly, fair. I'll take it, okay? I deserve that one.
All right, I think... yeah, I mean, that's pretty much my biggest regrets. I can't really wrap up.
You loved your flowers. You loved your table decor and all that.
Yeah, the flowers were nice because I didn't pay for them.
Thanks, Mom.
Thanks, Mom. Yeah, they were great. No, they were really beautiful. We cheaped out on like the table flowers. Like the centerpieces were just like,
in my opinion,
a rose and some baby's breath, as simple as you can
baby's
get.
breath? Oh, that's awful. Oh,
bring back baby's breath.
No, keep it away.
I love baby's
it was
breath.
A fucking huge hit back in like the early like 2010, 2015. And that's what, like, brides were doing straight baby's breath bouquets.
Oh, wow.
And like, I mean, they were on like the end of their aisles. Like,
yeah, me too.
I hate baby's breath and it stinks.
It smells like baby's breath.
Sure.
Okay. Anyways.
Sure.
Thanks for watching, guys. Sorry for the ending there.
It's
torturing you.
Don't you love it? Isn't that why you're here?
Our personalities are coming out slowly but surely.
Just a little bit. I think we're getting more comfortable in front of the camera.
The professionality has gone out the window.
Professionality where?
Thanks for watching. As always, if you have any comments, questions, or topic requests, drop them down below.
We'd love to feature it in the next video. Don't forget to subscribe. Bye.